He's here, finally here after what feels about, I don't know, when Romano broke, that must have been about 2.5 weeks ago that we'd signed him, and we were all absolutely over the moon. And then we've had to have this lull while Pau Torres enjoys himself on his honeymoon. Congratulations, fair play. But for all us Villa fans that are like chomping at the bit for any ounce of a signing coming in, it's been a very, very long wait. So welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, subscribe, drop a like on this video. And yes, Pau Torres. We did a lot of talk about Pau Torres, you know, when we were linked with him, the rumours, and I feel like we took you on a journey, like with that transfer. And that's what Transfer Hub's all about, really. You know, having a link, having rumours, letting it bubble, react to the rumours, reacting to the bid going in, and then boom, Romano, here we go. Pau Torres, big deal at Aston Villa, marquee signing. He's going to improve our possession-based football, playing football from out of the back tenfold. Absolutely loving it. Justin, thoughts on Pau Torres?
Yeah, over the moon. I mean, could have organised his wedding a bit better, couldn't he? Obviously coming signing for the Villa. Much more important than getting married, isn't it? No, fair play to him. Got his priorities right, signed for the Villa, gone and got married, and now he's here. I'm absolutely over the moon. I think it's a proper top-level signing, something that we wanted to see this summer, something that we are now craving as a club to take us on. We know we've got a good first 11. We've got a few decent squad players as well that can come and jump in and out. But now the aim of the game this summer is solely to add top quality players. We've done it with Tielemans, and now we've done it with Torres. Two top draw signings for us. If the rest of the summer goes as well as this, however many players we get in, then we're going to go into the next season with a really top quality squad, and that's what it's all about now. It's not a team game anymore. We've reiterated this point so many times. He's coming into a group of centre halves that can all play any game when they are asked to go and play. They all have different attributes. They'll all bring different things to the table. They'll all be used in different games when we come up against different opposition, against different strikers and different ways of playing. He's now got all the armoury he needs every single week. We know how meticulous he is with his setups. We know how much he works on tiny little minute details of each game, so we can assess our now defensive unit, if you like, and you can say, right, they're playing today because we come up against this. And Torres adds arguably the best ball playing centre half we're going to have at the club now, and that's why he was brought in, because he's worked with him before. That's another massive plus point, isn't it? He comes into this to Villa already knowing the Unai Emery way, and that's huge because he won't need that period of adjustment. Yes, country-wise, he's going to come in and have to get settled. His family are going to have to get settled here. That's obvious. But on the pitch and at the training ground, then, he's coming into a squad that's been drilled, for months now by Emery. So they're very much used to it. And he'll just come and hopefully just slot in with the players we currently have. So fantastic signing. I think it's a really good price as well for a player of his quality at the time he is in his career. What is he, 26, is he, something like that? Yeah, so we're getting him at the peak years of his career as well ahead of him, full international. I don't think you could get much better, to be honest. I really don't. It improves us, and that's what's so important.
He's the real deal. And touching on quite a few things that you mentioned, which I was going to mention, so we'll go through some of that. So you mentioned that it's a big move for him and his family. It's a massive move for him. He's only ever known Villarreal. He was born in the Villarreal province of Castilian. He has been out on loan once in his career, and then he just became a mainstay of the Villarreal side. He won the Europa League when Unai Emery was there. So, settling in, I know Villa will be doing a lot of stuff to help him settle into the area and getting him settled. But, we've got a great squad harmony at Villa, and Consa was speaking about this yesterday of keeping this squad harmony, this family vibe, and that is crucial to any successful side. Any successful side has that togetherness, has that team spirit. They're all in it together, and that just flows onto the football pitch. So I think we've got that in abundance. You mentioned that he's worked with Unai Emery before. This is a quote from 2021 from Unai Emery. I have been a coach in Seville, PSG and Arsenal, and I've never seen a centre-back like Pau Torres. I think he's going to play at the highest level. So he'll be doing that now. He'll be doing that now with Aston Villa when we're cooking in that Champions League. So some of his stats from last season as well, and this just shows the magnitude of the player that we've got now. These stats were based on defenders in La Liga last season. Most touches, 2,560. Most completed passes, 1,846. Final third passes, 275. Most through balls, 3. Most take-ons, 26. And second to most created in 14. So what's he all about? Well, he epitomises the ball playing centre half. You know, he's fantastic with the ball at his feet. He can step out from the back with the ball at his feet, but he can also step out and challenge and sort of come into these type of areas when he's trying to press and challenge a player in the opposition. You know, when an opposition player is coming out, he's composed when he's got the ball at his feet. He's just a composed centre half. His passing range is absolutely phenomenal. And he's just going to look so calm, so composed in this area. So, Justin, we're going to talk about this briefly. So, Aston Villa have now become a side that play football from the back. We're comfortable with Martinez, Torres, Mings, Konsa, Moreno, Luke Dean with the ball at their feet. So I know a lot of people say and comment, who is he replacing? And like you alluded to earlier, I think it's not about who he's replacing. It's about this squad game that we've built. But mate, two ways about it. Torres walks straight into this Villa side for me. And I think he will be partnering Tyrone Mings. Now, I haven't got a problem with two left-footers playing at centre-half, but I do think the centre-back partnering will be Torres and Mings. What are your thoughts on that, Justin?
I've got no problem with two left-sided, left-footed centre-halves. Nobody ever questions when you have two right-footed centre-halves today, but it seems to be thrown around when you get two left-footers. I mean, whoever starts the first game of the season, people are going to say that's his preferred partnership, but it's not. You know, ultimately, it's whoever's playing well at the time. I think Konsa came on last season, leaps and bounds. Mings from a reasonably dodgy start under. Let's not talk about him too much, and then came absolutely back to his majestic best towards the end of the season. Well, halfway through the season when Unai came in, you know, Mings was very, very much one of our better players last season. And then at the end of the season, we saw Carlos come back and have a couple of games. And, you know, I were there at the Wolves when he came on. And I was really, really shocked how good he was. You know, I shouldn't have been really because of his quality. But I'm so, you know, essentially we've got two new centre-halves this season, haven't we, with Carlos and Torres. So we could see those two, you know, playing regularly there. And with this, the way that it looks like it's evolving, this right-back role, a lot of people are thinking that, you know, we are going to see one of the, how you would class centre halves, maybe slotting in there with it sort of giving Matty Cash a run for his money with Konsa, maybe even Carlos, which allows then the likes of a Torres, who's a ball playing, ball carrying, composed, can go past people, things that you don't really associate with a centre half, to push up into that midfield area and start creating moves, start creating, you know, play. Maybe even a lot of integrated play with Luiz and Kamara in the sixth role. And then that allows Konsa and Mings, if Konsa's playing, to maybe come across and cover a little bit. I think we're going to see an even bigger evolution of the Unai style. I don't think he'll ever just be happy with what he comes out with. I think he strives constantly. A bit like Pep does at City, you know, constantly, you know, I'm not happy. Can we do it better? How can we evolve this better? How can the structure of a team improve? How can the formation improve? How can we get people in areas that are going to impact the game more? And by pushing a centre-half, by having a centre-half that can play out from the back as comfortably as Torres can, almost Beckenbauer style, that looks just like a midfielder. We saw John Stones evolve from a centre-half into a midfielder. under Pep, and I sort of see Torres in that sort of mould, a really, really good quality ball playing reader of a game. The last one of the best centre halves I've ever seen, obviously, was Paul McGrath, and he read the game supremely. His first yard was in his head, they used to say, and he'd know where the danger was before the ball came in, so he could position himself in the right areas. He's just adds, for me, he adds a really, really exciting dimension now to our squad, and I think something that he will evolve even more with it.
I think when you, as a football fan, when you look at signing players, like the best signing you can ever make is like an out and out centre forward, in my opinion. That is like the
Exciting,
best, the most exciting signing. But then it sort of like always dwindles down, doesn't it? Like, he signed a right back. Like that don't excite people that much. But this feels to me like a class signing in our defence, and it has got me excited because as a fan, like for so many years, like I've watched these sides that play out from the back. I've watched these possession-based sides. I've watched Barca, Tiki Taka. I watch Man City, and I'm in awe of what they do. Like Stones going into central midfield, it's amazing. Like it's so good, and to finally have a Villa manager that wants to like progress us. Like I look at our system last season, and I think, okay, yeah, it worked really well. Left back goes forward. Right back tucks inside. But how's he going to evolve it now? That's the most exciting part about it. And like you say, it might not be our right back that tucks in. We might mirror something like Man City. We just don't know at this moment in time. But the fact that sort of like we've got a manager that is not brave enough, he is skilled enough to be able to do that and want that and demand that. And when things sort of don't go your way, he doesn't just go, oh, no, let's just go back to this, or we'll just do this. That's not our manager. Like, I remember when we first started playing out from the back, and, it was new to everybody, wasn't it? It was new, but I loved it because, like I say, I've always wanted us to play that type of football. So I was a little bit more relaxed about it. And the mistakes started to happen, like Martinez gave it to Luiz and Brighton scored, and every time it went across the 6-yard box at Villa Park, it was like, oof it, get rid of it. And slowly but surely, we just was like, no, we're going to keep doing it. And we keep doing it. And we got better and better at doing it, didn't we? But, having a player like Torres now, who has been schooled of playing this way, we are going to start to see a massive, massive difference how we do play, and what it's going to enable us to do is progress quicker. When you bring in better players, it means that the system can evolve quicker because you've got better players that can do it. Do you know what I mean? And that's no disrespect to the players that we currently have got, but that's going to improve those players as well. So
I think obviously if you break football down to its simplest form, it's you keep the ball. Just keep the ball. If you keep the ball, your opposition's not going to hurt you, and that's I think that, like I say, the really basic Unai Emery way. Let's play out from the back. Let's not give the ball away easily. Let's build. Let's look for overloads. Let's look how we can get players in really, important positions on the pitch that can hurt the opposition. And if you've got 10 outfield players that are all very, very comfortable on the ball, know exactly what they're doing. The Barca way was to the extreme. I used to love watching that, as you can tell. I used to love watching that Barca team, the Xavis, Iniestas, Busquets, David Villa's, Messi's. They were just ridiculous. You just couldn't get the ball off them, and they'd wear you down. And I suppose that's the way that City play as well. We play a slightly variant form of that. I think we don't play tiki-taki. I think we just play. Let's play out from the back. Let's not give the ball away. let's play through the lines, let's look for space, let's, these sort of false positions that we've come accustomed to now. That sort of right-sided McGinn can play there, left-sided Ramsey can play there. You would class pre-Emery, you would class them as central midfielders. You don't class them as central midfielders now. You put them in positions on the pitch where they can affect the game with their abilities. McGinn's running abilities, he's incessant, never stops, up and down. Quality in that final third. Ramsey's ability to go past people and create chances, score chances. He's looked at what we've got and he's put them in the positions on the pitch what best suits their game. And it's so amazing to watch it. Honestly, going from 12 months of Gerrard or spending 12 months in this podcast, and even the day he left, still have no idea what he was trying to do. To a manager now that. We got it within a couple of games. We knew exactly what we was doing after 2 games. And yes, I totally think we'll evolve and we'll do this, but we'll be able to see it on the pitch. It'll be very obvious, I think, how we are playing and what players play. And like I said at the start, I think it's going to be really interesting to try and work out when he picks a team, how he then has looked at the opposition and he thinks, right, we will look at that team he's picked on a match day and think, right, because he's picked him, he obviously thinks they're going to be like this. So we might think that team's going to be a threat down the wings. They might think they're strong down the middle. They've got 2 big, massive centre forward that he wants Mings to go up against. So it's going to be really interesting week in, week out to analyse what we think before the game like we do and then look at what we actually did in the game and how it worked out after the game. Basically what he does, week in, week out. It's not a negative really, but looking at Pau Torres, the only thing that I think people are saying about him is his strength isn't, for a 6'3" centre half, his strength isn't the best, but I think what he makes up for by that, boys, like I said earlier, his reading of the game and the way he's supreme on the ball. So we might see, like if we come up against, like I say, some big centre forwards, we might see a game where Torres sits out and Carlos and Mings play, 2 huge strapping, superb in the air. And this is what I'm saying about this evolving of the squad game. And if he's on the bench, we don't have to have him out. Oh God, Torres isn't playing today, is he? No, he's picking a team to win a game against a specific set of players, and that's how we're going to evolve.
Do you know what else I can imagine him doing? Well, to be fair, basically, we've got an episode that's coming out, and I'm not sure when we've scheduled it, but we've got a special guest. You've already seen on Twitter anyway. We've got Sean Teal, and it's a fantastic episode. And I'll give you one little snippet that he talks about. It's about when McGrath, and he's sort of covering McGrath with his legs. And I kind of get, this is why I've put Mings in the team that I think he's going to partner him to start with, because Mings has got that physical recovery.
Physicality,
when Mings is out the team, the communication, it sometimes goes wanting. Mings is a crucial part to this Villa side, and I think that partnership is going to be very good. But this leads me on to my next point of, remember last season when we go into that sort of 6 at the back, right? So, no, 4, 6 at the back. Now, you imagine we've got Torres, Mings, Carlos Consa, and then we've got on the outside, you've got a McGinn and a Ramsey. It's a brick wall. It's literally a brick wall, and that's something that we could do. Like, we could literally just play 4 centre-backs across the back line, because that's what Man City do now. Man City play with 4 centre-backs. They've got Ake, Kanji, Stones, and is it Diaz that they play? 4 centre-backs across that back line.
Could you even see a possibility of it may be towards the end of a game when we've seen a 1-0 or 2-1 type game out that he brings Torres in one of them 6 roles and just sits a little bit in front of the back 4 just as a cover player. There's so many ways that this team can evolve, but I'm with you. I think it's so exciting and a fantastic signing for me.
It is a massive signing because, in all the last couple of years, we've made some like really good signings, but then we made a Coutinho signing, and Coutinho's past has been phenomenal. And it feels now that we've got a player in Pau Torres who, 26 years of age, his best years are in front of him. And I think that's an important thing to make, that this signing isn't someone that's sort of like at the back end of his career. He's coming in like in his prime years. And I think for Villa, that it is a huge signing. And that's something that should turn heads. I mean, I've been watching a lot of different podcasts this over the summer, and I've been watching like City ones, and I've been watching like Liverpool, and all these different fan channels, and a lot of them are making remarks about Villa and thoughts on Villa, and sort of saying like they've signed Pau Torres, they're linked with like Ferran Torres, they're linked with this player. Like Villa are actually doing bits, and I think that's something that as Villa fans we just look at Villa through like our funnel vision, but for the wider audience, teams and fans are looking at Villa thinking, you know what, they're actually like going places, and they're in a real good place. And I think that's a credit to Villa and a credit to Unai and the direction of the club that we're going in. So it's a massive signing for Villa, absolutely huge, and I just can't wait for the next one. Can't wait to see who comes in next.
What comes next?
Yeah, definitely. So cheers, everybody. Up the Pau Torres, up the Villa. Unai Emery has got his what is it? Clipboard out. His clipboard. It's doing the rounds now. So, it feels like he's been in hibernation at Bodymore, and he's just been unleashed.
I'd love to get hold of that clipboard, never read of it.
He's been unleashed. So, it looks quite thick as well. So it must have a lot of stuff in it. So, so big episode. It might have already come out, might not have. We'll see where we are. So cheers everyone for watching, and up the Villa.
Up the Villa.